Welcome to another episode of the Chicago Business Review. Guys, I am so excited for this episode. As you know, we try to bring on just incredible business minds, entrepreneurs, and people that are at the top of their game at what they are doing. And so I'm super excited for this week's episode because we are going to be bringing on an entrepreneur that is trying to make an impact on the game that he loves and is coming out with some really unique things that I'm so excited to share with you guys. So please help me in welcoming our guest for this week's episode, the creator of EVNPAR Golf, Michael Chiong. Mike, thanks so much for joining us this week, my man. How are you doing?
Good, Young. Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it. I think this is such a cool thing that you're putting together here, and much needed, especially with the state of the market.
Yeah. No, this has always been a passion of mine, is to talk with other entrepreneurs. It is a lonely journey at times, and something that people don't necessarily understand. And I know you, coming from the corporate world and jumping into the world of entrepreneurship, starting your company here, I know that there's a lot that we're going to be able to delve into. But first, if you could give the audience a little bit, or a 10,000 foot overview of what you are doing with your new company, EVNPAR.
Yeah, so EVNPAR was inspired from my dad. My dad loved golf growing up. He talked about it any second he could. And so he passed it along to me, unfortunately, a little bit late. His talent was not passed on because I'm a very mediocre golfer. And
I know that's not true. I know that's not true from having played with you, but I appreciate the modesty.
But I love it. But I did pass it on to my children, and my children really love the game. They've been practicing and taking lessons, have had such great mentors and coaches over the years, and are still at it. And their aspirations to play collegiately if they can, right? And I have been involved in the golf industry for several years and just started noticing how incredibly expensive this sport is, right? So I think it's an elitist sport. I think if you have the means and the funds to be able to play the game, it's much easier for you. And being someone who didn't really have that growing up, it's a learning curve, right? You have to kind of get your understanding on what type of training do they need? What type of equipment? Do they actually need lessons? And so when I started this company, I wanted to see how we can make a difference, because this game being an elitist game and being somewhat inaccessible, I wanted to build a company that made it much more accessible to new communities. So one of those areas where my talents lie in design, right? So I've built brands, I've created incredible digital marketing solutions for Fortune 50 brands, and why not do it for something that I am passionate about? So that what inspired EVNPAR. So our mission is really focused mainly on trying to make the game more accessible, and we do that in two different ways. The first way is to create premium gear that is reasonably priced, right? So I walked into Dick's just this past weekend and I looked at some of the golf polos and I'm like, my goodness, this shirt's $110.
Yeah.
How can a kid afford that, right? If there's requirements for them to wear a polo, that's expensive, right? So I felt like that's not right. One, and that doesn't really grow the game when you make it that way. And I know that they're doing other things to grow the game, which is fantastic. And I applaud them. And I'm big fans of other brands. Trust me, it's not just about EVNPAR.
Yeah.
But I do want to make an alternative, especially for golfers growing up, to have access to gear that's at the same level, but reasonably priced, right?
Okay. Yeah. So you kind of delved into my next question, which was why go into this? And you mentioned about your father and his love for the game, which was passed on to you, which you then passed on to your children. And that's such a critical component of starting up a business because we know how hard that can be. And we'll kind of dive into that a little bit more. But the reason why you created the brand. So you said because you wanted to provide an opportunity for people that maybe it's a little out of their range in terms of affordability, and you wanted to try to bring it a little bit more to the masses for people like you growing up or people like me growing up who maybe didn't have as much money or their parents were working really hard, but this was not a game that they could afford for us to play on the regular because the equipment and the gear and the clothing was so expensive. Were there any other reasons why you decided to create the brand?
I think the game in itself is an incredible answer to some of the issues that happen in society, right? I love the game for not only the sport, but what it brings to communities, what it brings in terms of relationships, to your health, to the mental challenges that you experience in life. I mean, it's holistically an incredible game that teaches you how to kind of organize strategy, how to practice, and you really grind at becoming better. It's a mental challenge. It's all those things that I think this game of golf can bring to communities and teach them great things, as well as being outside within beautiful weather and not stuck on your screen staring at it all day. It's typically, I went golfing on Sunday. It's a 5.5, 6 mile walk, depending how straight you hit the ball. I went out with 3 people. Two of them I hardly even knew. And just where else can you have a 4.5, 5 hour conversation with them constantly? Just getting to know them and hear what they're passionate about, what their family's like, what their background is. I met a guy, he knows who he is if he sees this, but we ran into each other at Jackson Park in the city. And so we were early golfers. So we were trying to get it in before the day started on a Saturday. And it's been over 20 years. And we've been playing together on and off. He's traveled and moved different geographies and locations, and we still stay connected. So it's amazing, the friendships and the bonds that you can create through this game. So
Yeah. No, that's so true. And one of the points that you were mentioning as well was the focus, the concentration, really strategizing, and the fact that even if you're playing the same course every time out, it's a different game. And so for everyone, but especially I feel like our children or the youth, it is such a critical skill to have. And it's getting tougher and tougher with this instant gratification and social media where their attention span is waning and waning. So having a game like golf to really try to focus and pay attention for an extended period of time, I feel like is a huge benefit. And I love what you guys are trying to do in terms of making the game more accessible for everyone. I really love the part where you were sharing about just your father, but I know you're also really active in youth golf because of your son. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that? And
yeah, for sure. To help make ends meet, I try to utilize some of my skills in the digital world to help coaches, teachers, programs excel at their marketing, or even being able to build more awareness of what they can offer kids, especially from golf training perspective. So I've been able to forge some really great relationships with some really top coaches and help them out while they help my kids out. And, that type of mutual collaboration has been super helpful. And so I've been working with incredible coaches. Scott Yopchik, that guy really helped inspire golf. He's out at Wilmette in my kids. He is so relational. He's one of the nicest guys, and he can break down so many things in a very simplistic manner. Chuhan Lee, he's a really big name in the area, especially with elite golfers. Such a great guy. It's kind of like a second father to my kids, and just really cares for them and gives all he can to them without expecting much, right? And he's just dedicated so much time to their growth as players. And then finally, Lewis Sauer, he's got a facility out in Northbrook, and they're called Next Level Golf. And it's just like a premier facility that he's been able to construct, and I've worked really close with him. He's investing tons of time and dollars to help kids get better at golf and get recruited. So it's amazing to be able to work with them, learn from them. So I'm really excited to see how this is actually going to help other kids seeking to play at a collegiate level, but also just learn the discipline of working hard at something you're really good at.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And I'm such a big proponent of just coaches and mentors in your life, no matter what your endeavor is, whether it is golf or any sports or even in business. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of coaches and mentors, and I still do, and they make such an impact in my life. And so I love that you are giving back to these people so that they can reach a larger community. Mm-hmm. Now, getting back to your brand, EVNPAR, and I love the play on words there. What are some of your inspirations, even for like your designs and how you went about establishing the business by going direct to consumer, maybe, versus going to retail or things of that nature?
Yeah, I think when you're creating a brand, we're pretty much in our infancy. Was inspired probably about a year ago when I was just trying to look at so many of the things that my sons were really into. They are notorious for watching YouTube, watching some of the great influencers out there making an impact within the game of golf, and they're just all over it. They see something, they're inspired by it, whether it's apparel, whether it's actually head covers or gear, or high-end golf equipment. They just really get deep into it, and they learn about the nuances of it, where it was created, how it's being used. And, as a dad, I've had to invest in some of that stuff, and I'm, holy cow, this is really expensive stuff. And being the dad that I am, I want to make sure that, if I can afford it, I would love to get it for them, and give them the best. However, I know just understanding business and supplies and how things are designed and created, doing that for most of my career, it could be done, right? And I could actually help steer whatever type of brand that I want to build for EVNPAR. So the inspiration is looking for just clean design that's comfortable, that's comparable to, the Lulus, the Travis Matthews, and the big brands that are out there, And what we're trying to do is just provide something that is equal in terms of style, design, and comfort, but trying to make it more accessible to some of the different sets of demographics of buyers that are investing in these type of clothing.
Yeah, no. And so if you go and check out the website, it's evenpar.golf. It's EVNPAR.golf. You guys will see some really nice, clean designs on there at much more affordable prices. So I really encourage everyone to go and check out the website and see, because they're continually bringing on more gear and more apparel. What are your main focuses in terms of apparel that you guys are working on? Is it mostly polos or hoodies or?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So we don't pretend that we know or we have all the answers in terms of what our customers are looking for. So we spend a lot of time having our customers provide very detailed feedback. I'm meeting with people on a weekly basis in terms of ambassadors that we sponsor or working on our women's line. We make sure that our players dictate what designs that they're looking for, inspired by what's already out there. So we've had some really great innovation sessions with some junior golfers, some college golfers, some adult golfers that just tell us what they're looking for and what seems to resonate with some of their needs as players, but also, off the course and the things that they're looking to wear. So I feel as though that, I'm sorry about that. I feel as though that it's important for that type of feedback to really dictate how you make your designs and your apparel. An example of that is when we first released, we were a little bit late. So we had a lot of t-shirts and a lot of hoodies, but the spring came up really, really quick. So we had to get polos out. So one of the items that we had across some of the people that were getting introduced to our brand, they're like, where are the polos? Where are the shorts? Where are the gear that we can play on the course? So we had to work really quickly to get that out there. And thankfully, that feedback really helped create our best sellers. So, we're into the head covers. We're into custom accessories such as yardage books, as well as doing some really cool things with outings. So like if there's an outing that you're planning with guys or girls, or if you have an association where you have like Ryder Cups or teams, we're trying to set up people with packages so that they have more than just one item. They have a hat, they have a hoodie, they have a polo, and maybe multiple hats. But we do it at a very affordable price because that makes it easier for us, right? Because
Yeah.
we know how many people are in your group, and we can create a custom page on our site that allows them to kind of pick and have the freedom. So you don't have to worry about the logistics behind it. We'll take that on for you. So that seems to really gain traction right now.
That's amazing. And for people that are looking to start businesses or are in the business of providing something along these lines, feedback is so important. You always want to get that feedback from your ideal client avatar so that you can hear what the public has to say and provide that benefit to them. And that's what EVNPAR is doing so great. And that's why they are taking off like they are. I also love the idea of teams or groups and being able to provide them with outfits and such, because I know there are so many guys trips where guys love making teams and playing a Ryder Cup style, or even just fundraisers or golf outings, and it's such a better way to build camaraderie, even though it's a small thing, but having those teams and having everyone dress and look alike makes such a big difference. And so that was a great idea by you guys. What are some of the challenges I know you've been saying in terms of just like trying to get the timing of it right this first season with spring coming up? What are some other challenges that you guys have encountered just starting out a new brand as you have been?
Yeah, I mean, so I come from software and product design. So a lot of it is experimentation, right? And trying to see what will resonate with your audiences. I think, just being able to test the waters, see what's hitting, see what seems to be resonating with the different target markets that we are trying to cater to. Our market moves from 18 to probably about early 40s. And I know that's a wide range, but golf kind of just stems across a lot of those different age groups. And the people who are really interested in some of this apparel and gear, you just never know whether they want the wild patterns or they want something totally off the wall, and something so out there, but you have to test it. And I think that's the challenge, where you have to make those investments and it may not resonate with them, right? And what do you do with that?
Yeah.
And so you're making these bets and you're trying to see what is starting to hit. But so far, the feedback's been pretty great. I think it's a lot of work, right? Because you're constantly trying to see how fashion seems to shift very quickly. But you want to have those staples, right? You want to have those basic foundational collections that everybody wants all year round, but then you also want to introduce some of those things with flavor, right? And have a little bit of an edge to them.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Because I know even within our own household, we have such different styles, different flavors, like you were saying. And so to be able to cater to as many different markets while still having like your core staple of items is so critical. And so that's great to hear. So the website, EVNPAR.golf, how did you come up with the name?
That was really funny. We had a bunch of different names. We had a ton, actually. We went through the rigor, and I would think that it would have been probably the easiest thing to do working within the branding world. And, we tested it. My partner, trusted his gut, felt like some of the runner-ups were just a little bit too cheesy. We had to go through a lot of iterations of what it was going to be. I think the EVNPAR kind of just came up by accident, to be quite honest. I think it was just the fact that what we were trying to do, because our holding company, or the company in itself, is actually Golf for All. And we wanted to talk about diversity, inclusiveness, and equity, and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to experience this game. But that particular name just didn't seem to roll off very easy. So what we wanted to do is still echo the thought of what we stand for as a mission. And EVNPAR is one of those areas where, you're trying to achieve that in life, right? You're trying to make sure that when you're playing this game, that's your goal. Right? You want to get under, but that's what life is about in terms of trying to meet the standard, right? And go for that particular number.
No, I love it. I thought it was such a clever name. And I know how much time and effort goes into that, which I don't think people necessarily know how stressful and time consuming it is to come up with it. But I gotta say, you guys came up with a great name, and it really exemplifies like what you guys are trying to do, as well as the mission of trying to grow the game of golf. Now, just some regular golf questions, just because I have you on. Which of the tournaments do you like watching the most?
Oh, the majors. It's got to be the majors, right? So
Yeah, for sure. Of the majors, I know you guys even, I believe, have a Masters line on your site. Is that right?
yeah, we had an inspired by the folks at Augusta, and it's a great line that we came a little bit late to the party, trying to market for it, but the great thing is that nobody's really beat Jack, right? So
That's right.
the six still echoes in the walls of history. So, that was a really cool design that inspired by the Masters. And then, in terms of just the ones that count, I mean, any of those really, it's just another level, right, of competition, the world's best, more on the line, a lot more exposure. So the Masters being probably the biggest, and then any of the majors after that.
Yeah, no, because as we're recording, the PGA Championship just ended, and so it's just it's a great time for the game of golf, especially as the weather is warming up here, and so we definitely are so excited to have you on, because I'm such a big fan of yours and of the brand. And so I really implore everybody, go check out the website. Again, it's EVNPAR.golf. And there you're going to see just some amazing designs that are going to be really appealing to pretty much everybody. So go check it out, really pick up some stuff. Father's Day's right around the corner, so make sure you pick up some gear off of the site. And Mike, what's some other ways that people could connect with you and your brand? Email, social media, the website?
Yeah, follow, like, and share. Our mission. That's the thing that's really important to us. We know, being in our infancy, we have to continue to build brand awareness. So if you can go to Instagram, follow us, it's EVNPAR.golf. We've got a Facebook page. We sort of have a TikTok page, but it's not really established yet. But it's a great time to see how the community is kind of embracing our new brand, and send us feedback, send us questions or requests. Some of the things that we get from our feedback is that where are the larger sizes, where are the smaller sizes. We can order anything, so just don't be shy and just reach out if anything.
Great. Yeah, guys. So please go on Instagram, go on Facebook, EVNPAR.golf. So follow them. You're going to see the latest trends. You're going to see the latest things that they're trying to put out there, and really support them. Share what they're trying to do out there, because they're trying to make the game of golf more accessible for people where it might not be financially, they might not be in a financial position to play, or they might not be able to put their kids in. But with your help, we'll be able to spread the word for this game that Mike and I love so much. So, and then if you do have feedback, you can also reach him via email, michael@evnpar.golf. So, guys, please show them some support here. And if you guys found this episode helpful, if you enjoyed listening to it, if you want to help spread the mission of what Michael and his partners and EVNPAR.golf are trying to do, please share this episode. It really means a lot to us. And if you go on the site I believe there is a 15% off coupon the first time you order. So go and check it out. Take advantage of that 15% off on the already very competitive prices that they're putting out there. And then you're going to look really stylish.
I think it's Young 15. So it's under your name.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. So put in at checkout Young 15. You'll be able to get that 15% off. But please just go and check out the site. You will not be disappointed. And I'm pretty certain you'll be going back to see what other new designs they have out there, because they have really, really stylish gear and really high quality at an affordable price, so that more people can start loving and enjoying the game, but also looking really sharp while they're playing. And then if you got groups, please reach out to them as well. Like I said, I shared Michael's email. It'll be in the show notes below as well. So please reach out. Michael wants to really hear your feedback and provide what you guys are looking for. So support the cause, support the mission, and support this podcast. And the way that you do it is by liking and sharing and leaving comments, so that we can bring on other amazing guests like Michael here and share their story and really promote what they're trying to do to not only make a difference in our community, but make a difference in the world and for our children. I know that sounds a little hokey pokey, but that is really what they're trying to do here, is provide opportunities that we didn't have. And that's what entrepreneurs are trying to do, is change the world by making it a little bit better for things that they are passionate about. And I know Michael is so passionate about the game of golf and about youth getting into the sport. So please follow him, follow the brand, and follow us, the Chicago Business Review. And then we will continue to bring on amazing guests like this. So thanks so much for listening and watching, guys. We will see you next time on another episode of the Chicago Business Review.